Welcome to Heard with Trevor. This week in the House of Commons, there's some ongoing debate with the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps being brought up numerous times, and Liberals claim they're doing as much as they can about the situation. They've got Iran listed as a sponsor of terrorism, and they have sanctioned, I believe it's 30 individuals. We'll hear in the video here in a moment. Conservatives have continued to ask for the IRGC to be listed as a terrorist group here in Canada. As we mentioned yesterday in the House and on the show, the IRGC were actually to be listed as a terrorist group in Canada back in June of 2018. However, the Liberals did an about-face after that unanimous vote had gone through. And since then, at no point in time has the Liberal Party, NDP, made any attempts whatsoever to put the IRGC on the terror list in Canada. Essentially, that allows these terrorists to still operate in Canada. And as we heard yesterday on a CTV interview, we do know that the Islamic Revolutionary Guards are still operating and profiting inside the borders of Canada here. So today in the House of Commons, after question period, Liberal MP Racheal Bendayan had made a motion, a bunch of virtual signaling, and I'm not even kidding, you'll hear it for yourself here. However, still no ban on the RGC in Canada, which, like I'm going to repetitively say, this allows these terrorists to continue to operate in Canada and to profit inside Canada, and then to take that money and use it in Iran for, their terrorist purposes. And, we've got flight 752 from Iran going to Ukraine that had 55 Canadians on them. There's some children, there was some doctors, scientists, and here we have this being the 1,000th day since the terrorist attack, and yet still no action from the Liberals in regards to listing the IRGC as a terrorist group, as the United States did about 3 years ago now. So let's pull up the video here and P. Bendayan has to say and how the Conservatives respond.
And with regard to the following motion, which I will read in English.
Strongly condemn the killing of Gina Mahsa Amini at the hands of the so-called Iranian morality police, a direct consequence of the systemic and sustained harassment and repression of women by the Iranian government. That the House reiterates its support for women's rights as human rights. That the House salutes the courage of Iranian women and men protesting in over 100 cities across Iran, and stand in solidarity with all those demonstrating against the Iranian regime's appalling practices. That the House calls on the Iranian authorities to immediately cease its use of deadly force against peaceful protesters and refrain from committing further acts of violence against its own population. That the House reiterates its support of Canadian sanctions against Iran, and today, 1,000 days since Ukraine International Airlines Flight 752 was shot down by the Iranian regime, the House stand united in solidarity with the families of the victims.
Yeah, it sounds all great and, congratulations, but that's already what the government's been doing.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sorry, I was just trying to follow the language on mine, and there was one line that may have been missed, and the government, House call on the government to immediately list the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terrorist entity under the criminal code. Did the member mean to read that part of the motion? You're here.
Nope, she did not. None of the Liberals will. None of the NDP members will. None of the Bloc members will.
Honourable members that the generosity of the Speaker is there, but not to take advantage of it. All those opposed to the honourable member moving the motion will please say nay. Agreed. The House has already heard the terms of the motion. All those opposed to the motion will please say nay. Carried.
So the Conservatives vote for it, as they should, right? Because it's just what the government's been doing already, right? And it's just the weakest measures we could.
Mr. Speaker, I wonder if there would be unanimous consent of the House for the following motion. That the House call on the government to immediately list the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, as a terrorist entity.
I believe with unanimous consent, we try to have consultation beforehand. I think I was pretty clear about that.
Well, that's all there was for that particular video here. However, I do want to continue on and play another video that is this the right one?
Member for Edmonton Strathcona.
Yes, it is.
Right now, heroic women and men are risking their lives fighting for
Heather
their rights
McPherson,
and freedoms,
NDP
demanding
MP.
justice for Massa Gina Amini and for the victims of Flight PS752. The government must use the Magnitsky Act to punish every guilty member of the murderous IRGC.
That's what
The
they're doing with these
violence and
sanctions.
intimidation in Canada must stop, and the Canada must
Why not make a
support
motion?
bids for justice at the ICAO and ICC. It's been 1,000 days, Mr. Speaker. We need justice, we need action, and we need it now.
Absolutely.
When will this government stop with the half-symbolic measures and support the Iranian people?
How about you make a motion, Heather, to put the IRGC on the terrorist list in Canada so that they can no longer make money inside of this country? But this is the kind of thing that really frustrates me with the Liberal and NDP MPs, is where they come out with these virtue signaling things, and it sounds great and the soundbite is really awesome. But then when the opportunity comes, where is Heather McPherson's motion to put the IRGC on the terror list in Canada? That's what we need to stop them from operating in this country, right? But you're not doing anything, and you're saying that this is the Liberal problem. Well, why don't you have an alliance with them, right? You don't want it to be called a coalition. You're not doing anything to help these women. You know, just coming up and playing blame games. That doesn't do anything to help. Where is your motion? That's all I got for this one, folks. Just I don't even know what to tell you. It's so disappointing. We hear over and over again the Liberals say, well, don't make this a partisan issue. Well, don't then. Put them on the terrorist list, right? We know you can't because we know you're funding them, right? We know you fund the terrorists in Afghanistan, and we know you fund the terrorists in Ukraine. That's all I got for you on this one, folks. Have a great day.